welcome back to the second video lecture of solid state chemistry. So in our previous class, we have studied about some of the important aspects of solid state chemistry and general introduction about the solid state. So in this class, we will be studying about the new concept, that is close packing in solids. Okay, close packing in solids. Okay, so before we study about this close packing, we'll understand a little bit about the introduction. How is the close packing takes place? So generally, you know that the solids are arranged in a close and a regular manner. The constituent particles are arranged. So we'll understand the close packing step by step. First, we'll understand the close packing in one dimension. Next, we'll go to the two dimension, and finally, we'll come to the three dimension, because solids are three-dimensional structures. So you all know that they are not in one dimension or two dimension, they are three-dimensional structures. So that's why in order to understand the packing or the arrangement of constituent particles in solids, we'll go one by one, that is one dimension, two dimension and three dimension. Coming to the introduction about the close packing. So when the substance from solids, or they tend to pack together to form orderly arranged or array of atoms, ions or molecules. Okay, so they are not irregularly arranged, as we have discussed about the arrangement of constituent particles. They are very regularly arranged, and the intermolecular force is high and thermal energy is less, right? So let us understand how this order is arranged with the examples, certain general example and day-to-day life examples. Okay, so as you all seen that a fruit vendor who sells the fruits, so he arranges some of the fruits in a very unified manner, or a very arranged manner, right? So you can see the oranges and apples. So we must have seen how this fruit vendors arrange these fruits in the roadside, right? So there is a regular arrangement of apples here, right? One after the other, without leaving any gap. They are arranged these apples regularly, one after the other. Similarly, the oranges also, they are arranged in a regular manner, one after the other. So similarly, you can see in the second picture over here, there is an honey hive. Some of the honeybees are there. So definitely you must have seen the honey hive, how it exactly looks like. So it's just like an hexagon. So all these are arranged in a very compact manner without leaving any empty space, right? So this is also one of the kind of close packing. So all these hexagons, or all this honey hive, whatever the shape of the honey hive is there, so it is an example for close packing. Or you can see the insect's eyes. So it is also best example for close packing, right? So not only in our day-to-day life you can see all this close packing, even the solids which are not the molecules which we cannot able to see through our naked eyes, so they are also arranged in a well-defined regular manner, in a closed manner, close packing. So coming to the definition of the close packing. So close packing is defined as the way of arranging equidimensional objects in space such that the available space is filled very efficiently. So this is important. So available space, whatever the available space is there, that has to be filled very efficiently. That means less number of empty space should be there, and more of the space should be occupied by the equidimensional objects. So that is called as the close packing. So solids are three-dimensional objects. As I told you before, they are three-dimensional objects. Thus, we develop the structure in three steps. Okay, so we'll develop the structure of a solid in three steps. First, we'll understand in one dimension. Next, we will go to the two dimension. And last, we'll come to three dimension close packing. So in all the cases, the constituent particles are arranged in a closed manner. Okay, close packing is seen in all the three different cases, right? So coming to the first type of close packing, that is one-dimensional close packing. So in case of one-dimensional close packing, here you can see the constituent particles are identical spheres. I imagine these constituent particles are identical spheres. Identical spheres. All are identical spheres. So these are arranged in a regular manner, one after the other, in one particular dimension. Okay. So I'll mark these identical spheres as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. So one after the other, these are being placed in a regular manner. Right. So now, here, in this arrangement, each sphere is touching the other sphere. You can take the second sphere is touching the first sphere, and also it is touching the third sphere. Right. Similarly, you can take any sphere, so each sphere will be touching the neighboring spheres. Here, the coordination number comes. Coordination number is nothing but the number of nearest neighbors or the particles is called as coordination number. Okay, right here. Coordination number. So what is coordination number here? It is nothing but the number of nearest particles or the nearest neighbors is called as coordination number. So I will take one atom over here. I have highlighted here. Can you see the fourth atom? Yes. So to this fourth atom, which are the neighboring atoms? 3 and 4 are the neighboring atoms. So in this way you can consider, so the number of nearest spheres is 3 and 4. So total number of nearest sphere is how many? 2. So 3 is the nearest sphere and 5 is the nearest sphere. So the coordination number for this one-dimensional close packing is 2. Coordination number is 2. Any sphere you can consider. If I consider the fifth sphere, the number of nearest sphere is 6 and 4. Coordination number is 2. So in this way, you can take the one-dimensional close packing and the arrangement you can see horizontally, and also you can expect in vertical form also. But the coordination number remains the same. Okay. Coming to the second one, we have finished the first, that is one-dimensional close packing is over. Now coming to the two-dimensional close packing. So in case of two-dimensional close packing, you have two ways of arrangement. That is two-dimensional square close packing and two-dimensional hexagonal close packing. Okay, the name itself says you are getting a square shape structure and also you are getting a hexagonal shape structure. Let us understand with the diagram. So under two dimension we have first one, that is two-dimensional square close packing. So in the picture you can see over here, there is an arrangement of atoms or identical spheres in a layered form. So I'll consider the first layer as my first one-dimensional close packing. It looks like exactly your one-dimensional close packing. If I forget these two layers, if I take the first layer, it exactly looks like a one-dimensional close packing, right? Right. So I'll take this one-dimensional close packing as my first layer. So I'll take this as first layer. So similar layer I'm going to place right above the first layer. Okay. So this is the second layer. So I have placed the second layer right exactly above the first layer. And the third layer is exactly placed right above the second layer, right? So all these layers are identical, right? So there is no differentiating point. You can't differentiate them with each other. So all are identical spheres. and the alignment, if you see, they are arranged aligned in a horizontal way and vertical way in a similar fashion. So all these are identical layers, right? Now I call this first layer as A type of layer. I'll just give a name, A type of layer. So shall I name the second layer as different type of layer? No, right? So it is also a same kind of layer. So that's why I'm naming the second layer also as A type of layer. So similarly, the third layer is also an identical layer. So I'll call this third layer also as an A type of layer. And together, this type of arrangement or close packing, this type of close packing, we call it as A type of close packing. Right? Okay, because all the layers are similar layers. So here, can you see some empty space over here? Right? So these empty space are called as void. Okay, void is nothing but an empty space, or it is also called as unoccupied space, where there are no atoms or the constituent particles present. So such space we call it as voids. Okay. So each sphere in this close packing is touching 4 other spheres. You pick any sphere in this close packing. So each sphere is going to touch 4 other neighboring spheres. And mark this as 1, 2, third sphere, and then fourth sphere. Right. This is 1, and this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So what should be the coordination number for this close packing? 4, right? The coordination number is coordination number is 4 for two-dimensional square close packing. Close packing. Right. So why it is called as square close packing? Because when you join the centers of all these 4 atoms, you will get a square. So that's why it is called as square close packing in 2 dimension. Here you need to remember the coordination number. What is the number of particles or the nearest neighbors? That is 4. That is the coordination number for 2-dimensional close packing. So now we'll move on to the second type. Coming to the second type, we have 2-dimensional hexagonal close packing. Okay. So similar way, just like the previous arrangement, I'll take the first layer. It is exactly like a 1-dimensional close packing, right? So I'll consider this as first layer and second layer. Second layer atoms I am going to place into the depressions of the first layer. So this is the first layer, and the second layer I am placing into the depressions. So these are the depressions. Depressions of the first layer. So these are the second layer atoms, that is brown color atoms. So next, third layer. Third layer atoms are going to be placed into the depressions of second layer. So like this way, I'm going to place the first layer, second layer, and third layer right above the first layer. So this is a 2-dimensional arrangement. Okay. So here I can see the first layer and the second layer, and I can say both the layers are identical. There is no point that there is no difference in between these 2 layers, right? Because horizontally and vertically they are aligned with each other and they are identical spheres. So due to which I can say the first layer and third layer as same type of layer. So I call the first layer as A type of layer and third layer as also A type of layer. Now, the point is, what about the middle layer? The middle layer is not identical with any of these two layers, and the alignment is also different among these two layers. So I'll consider this as a separate layer, and I name this layer as B type of layer. So this type of close packing in two-dimensional close packing, we call it as A type of close packing. Close packing. Right. So am I making clear? Yes. So let us consider this any one of this atom. I'll just take this purple color atom over here. So how many neighboring atoms it has? So it has got one neighbor, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So I can see 6 number of neighboring atoms are there for this purple colored atom. So that means the coordination number should be how much? Coordination number should be 6, right? So if I join the centers of all these 6 atoms, I am going to get an hexagon, right? You can see hexagon. Hexa means 6. So the coordination number is 6 and the type of arrangement is two-dimensional hexagonal close packing, right? And here also we can see some of the space has been left out with unoccupied particles. These are called as voids. So here also you can see the voids, right? So voids are nothing but the empty spaces. Talking about the packing efficiency, how efficiently these atoms are arranged when you compare to square close packing and hexagonal close packing. So when you look back, in case of square close packing, the empty space is more, right? And the occupied space is less. And when you see the hexagonal close packing, the empty space is somewhat lesser than the square close packing. So the efficiency of packing is more in case of hexagonal close packing compared to square close packing, right? So that is about the efficiency of packing. Next. So third stage, that is three-dimensional close packing in solids. So this is a lengthy process. We'll go step by step and try to understand. Okay. 2 ways of arranging or getting the three-dimensional close packing. One is three-dimensional close packing from two-dimensional square close packed layers. So what are we using? We are using the square close packed layers and we are going to form a 3D structure, right? Second type is, so we are going to form a 3D structure by using hexagonal close packed layers to form a 3D structure, right? So here pictorially I have shown you here how a square close packed layer looks like and also hexagonal close packing looks like, right? What is the coordination number here? Coordination number is 4 for square close packing. Hexagonal close packing coordination number is 6. So these things you should remember. Coordination number is important. So let us move on. Okay, now we have the first one, that is three-dimensional close packing from two-dimensional square close packed layer. So here one thing you need to remember. So here I am not taking this as individual one layer, second layer, third layer or fourth layer. Okay, I stop taking this as individual layers. Instead, I will take this entire arrangement as one particular layer. This entire arrangement as one layer. So similarly here also I'll consider this entire arrangement as one layer. Okay, so I'm going to form a 3D or three-dimensional structure by considering this as one layer, one individual layer. Okay, here the spheres are aligned horizontally as well as vertically. You can see this picture. So you can see here, so this entire thing is one layer, right? So right below this you have one more layer. So one more layer you have, under that you have one more layer. So it is just like when you see eggs in a case. So in a similar way, these atoms are arranged in the same fashion. All these are arranged in a layered manner, right above one another. Okay. Now, okay. So each layer is, if the arrangement of spheres in the first layer is considered as a type of layer. So let us consider this first layer of atoms as a type of layer. So is there any difference between the first layer and the second layer? No, right? So the second layer is also the same kind of layer. So I call this second layer also a type of layer, and the third layer is also similar, call this as a type. Fourth layer is also a type of layer. So this type of arrangement we call it as a type of arrangement. So a type of arrangement, because all these layers are identical and their alignment is horizontally and vertically, they are aligned with each other. So that's why they are all same layers. That's why I call all the layers as a type of layers. So this arrangement as results from the formation of a primitive cell. If I join any four atoms, so you'll get a primitive unit cell. So we'll try to draw a primitive unit cell. You can see over here. Okay, if you take the smallest portion of out of this structure, that is obviously a primitive kind of unit cell. Okay, it's going to be primitive unit cell. Now it is also called as simple unit cell, right? So we have studied about the simple unit cell or a primitive unit cell in our previous class, right? So this is about the first way of getting a three-dimensional structure. Okay, so it is arranged in all three different dimensions, x, y, and then z, right? We'll move on. The second one, the three-dimensional close packing from two-dimensional hexagonal close packed layers. So what are we using here? We are going to use the hexagonal close packed layers. Hexagonal close packed layers to make a three-dimensional structure. Right. So three-dimensional close packed structure can be generated by placing the layers one over the other. That is, by placing the second layer over the first layer and by placing the third layer over the second layer. So here a little bit of confusion you'll get. So we'll try to understand. Say for example, this is your first layer. First layer, right? So this is what kind of layer? This is hexagonal close packed layer. Okay, so don't worry about the diagrams, you We'll talk about this later. This is the first layer, right? The second layer is this layer. Okay. Now, so the talk is about how to get the three-dimensional structure by using the hexagonal close packed layers. So one is, I can get the three-dimensional structure by placing the second layer over the first layer. It is by placing the second layer right above the first layer. So are you getting? Right. So this is one of the way that I can get the three-dimensional structure. First we'll talk about this. Later we'll go to the placing of third layer over the second layer. Okay, that will come later. First we'll understand how to place the second layer over the first layer and what are the things that we could get to know about when you place a second layer over the first layer, that we'll understand first. And there are different kinds of voids you could able to see, and what is the coordination number, all those things we'll study first here, right? So look at the diagram over here below. So this is the first layer, that is hexagonal close packed layer. The second layer is also an hexagonal close packed layer. So how I am going to place the second layer is right into the depressions of the first layer, I am placing the second layer. So in this way, I am going to get a three-dimensional structure. Very simple. So this is how exactly the molecules or the arrangement of hexagonal close packed layer looks like. But when you see from the top, it looks like somewhat like this. Okay. So you can see the circles, red color circle and a faint pink color circles, right? So here there are voids generated in this arrangement, and each void is named as tetrahedral void and octahedral void. Why it is called as tetrahedral void and octahedral void? First we will discuss about that. So now we'll consider this tetrahedral void. Consider the tetrahedral void. What happens is, in case of tetrahedral void, this is the center atom where T is written, right? Right above it, you have three more atoms. Please excuse for the diagram. It's not good. Right. I am taking only this first atom, second atom, third atom, and below whatever the atom is there, that atom I'm considering it. Okay. Now, if I join the centers of all these three atoms, join the center of all these three atoms, so I am going to get a shape that is tetrahedral shape. Right. I think I will draw it here so that you can able to understand. Right. So here each point I will represent that as, consider it as atom. Each point is an atom. Right. So each point is an atom. Now, if you place a small atom over here, this void is going to touch four spheres. Listen carefully. The void which is present in the center of these four atoms, this void is going to touch the four atoms. Below one atom is there. So it's going to touch four atoms. That's why it is called as tetrahedral void. I've mentioned here, it is called as tetrahedral void. So similarly, you have one more type of void, that is octahedral void. Similarly, you have one more type of void, that is octahedral void. The octahedral void, the void is going to touch 6 atoms. So that's why it is called as octahedral void. So in this diagram, we can easily able to understand. So I'm considering it as the 3 atoms, that is 1, so 2, and then 3 atoms. So these 3 atoms, and the 4th atom is the red color atom. So the center part is empty. So this is the void. It is called as tetrahedral hole. So this hole or the tetrahedral void is touching how many atoms? 4 atoms. 4 atoms. So that's why the coordination number is for tetrahedral void is 4. So very simple. So here also in this diagram you can see very clearly 3 atoms are there. You mark 1, 2, 3. There is a hole here in the center. So this hole is going to touch how many atoms? This is 4th atom. So 4 atoms it's going to touch. That's why the coordination number is 4. So how many faces are there in tetrahedron? 4 faces. Right? Clear? So coming to the octahedral void. So here also you can see 3 red color circles. First you consider the first 3 red color circles. 1, 2, 3. And below that you have blue color circles. 4, 5, and then 6. Alright. So that in the center the hole is there, that is the octahedral hole. Why it is called as octahedral hole? Because when you join the centers of all the 6 spheres, so you're going to get a shape which is octahedron shape. So that's why it is called as octahedral hole. So the coordination number of octahedral void is 6. I'll mark once again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this hole is going to touch 6 atoms. When you place right above it, so it is going to touch 6 atoms. So that's why the number of nearest spheres becomes the coordination number. The coordination number is 6, right? So please remember the octahedral void's coordination number and tetrahedral void coordination number, right? So tetrahedral void, the same way I have written over here. The vacant space or the void is surrounded by 4 atomic spheres. Hence the coordination number is 4 in tetrahedral void. And in case of octahedral void, the coordination number is 6. Coming to number of voids. In the arrangement, the number of these 2 types of voids depend upon the number of close packed spheres. So let the number of close packing spheres be n. Generally, if I consider there are so many spheres are there, those sphere I'll consider it as capital letter N. Then the number of octahedral voids generated will be also equal to capital letter N itself. And number of tetrahedral voids will be double the number of octahedral voids. Right? Yes. So now we have come to the second type of understanding, that is by placing the third layer over the second layer. So I told you before when I was explaining you before beginning. So this is the first layer and the second layer was placed above the first layer. So till now whatever we studied, the voids and other things, the coordination number was completely by placing the second layer over the first layer. Now we are going to place a third layer above this second layer. So there is a question here. So how can I place the third layer over the second layer? So there are 2 options are there. One is by covering the tetrahedral voids, I can place the third layer over the first layer, right? or I can place the third layer by covering the octahedral voids I can place. Right. So you can see the picture over here in the right side. So two layers are over. This is the first layer and this is the second layer. Now the point is how we are going to place the third layer above the second layer. Either one is I can place by covering the tetrahedral voids. Tetrahedral voids are open, so you can directly see the tetrahedral voids in the picture. Right, I have shown you. So one way is by covering the tetrahedral voids I can place. Another way is by covering the octahedral voids I can place the third layer. Right. First we will understand and try to know how the placement is done by covering the tetrahedral voids first. First we will cover the tetrahedral voids and what are the things and coordination number that we will study. Next we will go for the covering of octahedral voids by placing the third layer. Okay. So when the third layer is placed over the second layer in such a way that the spheres cover the tetrahedral voids. This is the point we have to discuss. So when we are placing the third layer over the second layer, we are covering the tetrahedral voids. So this type of close packed arrangement is referred as AB-AB type of close packing. So you can see in the diagram, when you place like this, third layer above the second layer by covering tetrahedral voids. So the first layer and the third layer are identical layers. Okay, because the alignment both horizontally and vertically they are aligned equally, aligned with each other. So that's why both the first layer and the second layer, I'll call it as same kind of layer and I name them as A type of layers. So the second layer, which is right in between the first and the third layer, is completely different layer. So I'll call this second layer as B type of layer. So here also it is similar to hexagonal close packing they say. So when you spread out all these 7 atoms above and 7 atoms below and the 3 atoms which are at the center, it exactly looks like hexagonal close packing, HCP. So that's why it is called as HCP. So which are the crystals that show HCP kind of arrangement? That is molybdenum, magnesium, beryllium will crystallize into hexagonal close packing. Right. So now we'll try to understand what is the coordination number here because it is very important to understand the coordination number. So I told you the first layer and the second layer is, third layer. First layer and the third layer are identical layers. Identical layers. That's why I call both this first and third layer as A type of layer. This arrangement is ABA type of arrangement. Okay. So coming to the coordination number over here. So forget about this 12. Don't look at this 12 now. We'll understand it later. First I'll draw a simple diagram and make you understand. Right. So this is say for example, this is the first layer. So I'll call this as A type of layer. So after A layer, you'll get B layer. So this is the B layer. So below the A layer, so again one more layer, that is you have a B layer. Right. This is how the arrangement goes. The first layer is B layer. First take it as B layer, A layer, and then again B layer. Any way you can consider it. Now, talking about the center atom, let us consider the center atom here. I'll highlight the center atom. Right. So this center atom, to how many atoms or neighboring atoms it is in contact, direct contact? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So right above this layer you have B layer, right? So it is not so far apart. It will come and sit right above this atom, the yellow color atom. So all these three atoms will come and sit on this yellow colored atom. So if it come and sit on this, so this center atom, the yellow colored atom, is going to touch these three atoms. So it is going to touch the seventh, eighth, and ninth atom from above. So similarly from below, if these three atoms come and sit below, so again it is going to, the center atom is going to touch these three atoms, that is 10th atom, 11th atom, and 12th atom. So finally the yellow colored atom is completely touching 12 atoms. Hence the coordination number for this close packing is coordination number is 12. Why? Because each atom is going to touch 12 other neighboring atoms. That's why it is called as the coordination number is 12. And you can see in this diagram, which is shown here at the right corner. So there are 6 atoms at above, 6 atoms below. Among that center atom, one more atom is there, total 7, and in the middle you have 3 atoms. So it is just exactly like an hexagon if you join the center of all these atoms. So that's why it is called as hexagonal close packing. So what is called as hexagonal close packing. Right. So I think I made myself clear and I told you what is the coordination number. I think you are convinced with this. I hope you understood. So coordination number is 12. You have to remember this. And what is this? How we got this arrangement? When you place the third layer over the second layer by covering the tetrahedral voids. Now we are going for the second type. Second possibility. There is a second possibility, that is I can place the third layer of hexagonal close packing by covering the octahedral voids. Second possibility. So when the third layer is placed over the second layer in such a way that the spheres cover the octahedral voids. So this is the important thing. The spheres are going to cover octahedral voids. The different layer C is produced. Here a different layer is going to produce here. So that layer I will name it as C layer. You can see the first layer. First layer is 1, second layer is B, and the third layer is C. So this pattern of stacking the spheres is called as ABC type of pattern. So how did I get this ABC type of pattern? By placing the third layer in such a way that it will cover the octahedral voids. So it is also called as cubic close packing. So cubic close packing is called as CCP. Cubic close packing. So why it is called as cubic close packing? So we'll understand with the picture. So it exactly looks like, when you stretch the atoms to the respective corners, it exactly looks like a cube. Okay, or it is also called as face-centered cubic lattice or face-centered cubic close packing. Cubic close packing. Right. So the examples for such solids which undergo the cubic close packing or CCPs. One is iron, nickel. I'll show you. So examples is iron, nickel, copper, silver, gold and aluminium will undergo into CCP kind of crystallization. Right. So now we'll understand the coordination number over here. So coordination number is very, very important. Right. So here, first we will consider this center atom. Okay. So this center atom, I've taken 3 different layers. That is, you'll get the first layer as A layer, second layer as B layer, and third layer as C layer. So I'm concentrating on this center atom. So how many number of nearest spheres are there to this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So they are in contact with each other. Right. Right. So right above this B layer, you have a C layer. So C layer also comes and exactly sits above this B layer. So if it sits above this B layer, the center atom also going to touch the 3 more atoms from the C layer. So it will be 7th atom, 8th atom, and this is 9th atom. So similarly, from the bottom, 3 more atoms are going to touch from the A layer. So I'll call this as 10th atom, 11th atom, and 12th atom. The coordination number here it becomes again 12. Coordination number is 12. Right. So whatever the things we studied today, important thing is we have to remember the coordination number. I hope you understood with this example. So please revise it, pause the video and try to understand, learn slowly. So we'll understand it easily. So 3-dimensional structure, it takes little time to understand. So try to understand. Remember the coordination numbers. So I'll stop over here and I'll continue in the next class.